Hey guys, in the process of trying to improve my video quality, I got a new screen recorder and a new editing app, so hopefully this works. Any of you who see this video, tell me in the comments if the quality has gotten any better. I'm really trying to do something with this channel other than just Majin Buu stuff, so I'm more than happy to do other characters in this game or just other stuff in general. Just let me know. But without further ado, let's get into this. So, Fat Boo's Oki is actually pretty strong, and this is not including the restands. The restands are its own separate video. They're not the same thing. It's not exactly the same as Nappa's restands, where he sort of gets Oki on top of it. It's more like his own unique thing, and we'll explain in the Fat Throw video. But for now, we're just going to talk about his safe jumps, his Oki, that sort of thing. Mid-screen, your best Oki option looks something like this. And what exactly did I do there? Well, I did a big moon jump, jump medium. And the reason that's your best option is obviously because, as you can see, when you end the smash JH, they just slide really, really far away. And technically, you still can do a dash up IAD medium or something, but the reason this is actually better than just doing that is because you get to preserve your jump. And preserving your jump is really useful for times like, let's say you're in Spark, for example. If you preserve your jump, what ends up happening is you can air dash after and get your sort of like 50-50 after. So having a mid-screen way to do that is pretty good. I mean, not going to argue with that kind of two-touching, right? As for getting something like a JDR or whatever, I mean, you don't really get anything substantially different. You basically just dash up and do an IAD medium. You don't get to preserve your jump, and this is the same thing if you end a combo with mid-screen 236M. You get basically the same Oki. You would end your combos in 236M if you watch the combo guides on this channel. Let's say, for example, you do a Vanish Confirm, and you wouldn't get a sliding knockdown any other way. Your Vanish Confirm would basically end in this medium slam, and you could just do this from there. The JDR knockdown of information is useful for example, a scenario like this. If you end up mid-screen after a 236H, it'll be useful to know that you can't just moon jump JM and get your same safe jump that way. You're just going to have to do that IADM and lose your jump. But I mean, aside from that, that's basically the mid-screen stuff without your level 3. The level 3 will come at the end of the video. So for now, let's move on to the corner. In the corner, your stuff gets real. So after a 236L, you can input Fat Toss immediately after, and as you can see, that was plus 18. So Fat Toss is really slow, but if you have a chance to input the move completely safe, like you do after a knockdown, you can get that full plus 18 and be safe to everything. And the reason that plus 18 is good is because, number one, you can't super dash this, which means if you fail to reflect on that first frame, whatever comes next is just going to be true block string. And as you can see, that will pair with some mayhem once you start factoring in assists. So the CPU is set to guard first only, and as you can see, that low was completely gapless with an assist like Yamcha A. And basically that just means you get a 50-50 if they fail their reflect, and that's really, really scary for most people to deal with. If they do get their reflect, a lot of assists will force them to reflect again. If they still do reflect again, the mix-up after will actually be a third reflect. So reflecting against this is still really, really risky. It's very safe to DPs because all you do is just jump and call assist. It's very, very, very strong. I mean, if you land right down here and they do their reflect again, you're gonna end up with some pretty sick damage. That was all off of a non-optimal combo. Now, if you get a JDR in the corner, you can still input the meaty Fat Toss, but what will end up happening if you do it immediately is it won't cover up tech. So before you had just the right frame advantage, it would cover all the tech options by itself, and this isn't really a good example because Buu is a big character. It still works on him. But just take my word for it. A lot of characters, if you do this immediately on the get up, you see it'll just whiff on their up tech. So what has to happen for you to be able to get that is very simple. You just whiff a button to help you time it, or you just manually do a little tiny dash and then do it. And that little baby delay will help you actually meaty all the tech options once again. And this mix-up is actually tight if you do a super jump instead of a regular jump and then hold down to fast fall. It's actually tight with as little as 30 frames, and even though it's really hard, you can even get it with 29 frames, if you can believe that. So this assist, it's pretty hard to do it with, but it's still possible, and the fact that it's that tight, even if it's difficult, is really, really strong. Like, most people can't get their reversal options out against this Oki, and again, you cover all the tech options meaty, so just to show that off. If you have a character with low blockstun on their assist, you can do a super jump IAD, and you should be able to get a kind of mix up that way. If you guys didn't already know, Majin Buu's super jump float is actually slower, and it has more control. What's the word? Control? Whatever. It's a lot more fluid than most characters. So as you can see, Majin Buu can float for a very long time. Your super jump float IAD mix-ups are also going to be very, very powerful. So it's, again, very strong Oki no matter what assist you use. It's also another reason I think Majin Buu and Vegito is such a good pair, because I could get that high-low super jump IAD sort of fast fall float mix-up, and you basically can't see. The explosions just block your vision, so it doesn't even matter if it's not a 50-50, you just can't see what I'm going for. And just as a bonus, while we're talking about corner stuff, if you get a non-smash 236L, the opponent gets air teched, and this air tech usually comes at about the same time no matter what the length of the combo. But if you want to catch all of their tech options and get a mix-up after, something I see Kelso do a lot is something like this at the end of his combos, and that doesn't actually catch forward tech after long combos after the 2M. But what I found that does cover all the tech options after this sort of situation is just raw super dashing at them. And you actually have enough frame advantage. I actually labbed this with a lot of hitstun decay with loop combos. If you super dash here, you actually have enough frame advantage to beat people's 2H. So like if they down tech 2H, you just have enough frame advantage to beat them over there. So just to show that off. So the level 3 is actually going to be fun to talk about, at least for the mid-screen part, because there's actually an option here that I didn't know existed. So apparently Majin Buu can get 21s, you know, Majin 21, per sort of like level 3 super jump cross up, and he can get it with his JM because his JM hits so low. So in Season 2, Majin Buu used to be able to fuzzy people with his JM, and nowadays I guess you can hit people like that, and that's just a true cross up. You can convert off of it by mashing 5L. It's a really good mix. And I want to give a thank you to Kolga FGC on Twitter for pointing this out to me. I don't even think Kolga is a Majin Buu player, but I guess someone must have found this that I didn't even know about it. I was theory crafting, and I kept trying to get it to work for a long time, but I never got it to work, and apparently it does work. So I learned that for this video, and that would basically be the go-to mid-screen mix, but as you have seen, it's a little bit tricky. I mean, getting the spacing just right and the height just right for this, and also timing it to meaty 2H, it's just not generally an easy thing to do, especially if you're an online player. So I'm also going to tell you about the mix-up that I always went for ever since Season 1, which is the meaty 2L low. And so you can do this, and that low is actually a true meaty. So basically what you would do is you would just do a little dash up after the level 3, and then you would do an immediately right after you dash up instant air dash M, and then that 2L is a true meaty. So just to prove that, we'll set the bot to vanish, and he'll try and vanish out of the mix-up. So as you can see, he couldn't vanish out of that. You're not actually safe to DPs if you go for this meaty low, obviously, but it also looks completely indistinguishable from a same side high. So really the especially effed up thing about this mix-up is the fact that that whole JM comes out, that whole JM can meaty you, and that whole 2L can also meaty you. It's not exactly a 50-50, but it's a really, really good layer, especially you start pairing it with stuff like IAD into meaty Dragon Rush, into a somewhat fast 6M, into landing, you know, doing another cross-up like that. It's a really good, like, layered mix-up. Now, in the corner, you obviously can't cross people up with your JM, and while you can still go for that little empty jump meaty low mix-up, something you can do that's a little more potent is that super jump IAD stuff that I showed off with the fat throw mix. So the idea here is you do like a float to get people to think you're going high and then do a really fast low, or you do a fast fall and then start floating to make people think that you're going to go low, and then really you just stayed high. It's not exactly a 50-50, but it's the best meterless option there is after this. And if you are really, really desperate for a hit, a new change that they made in season, I think it was this season, they made it so that this 236M always steals the corner. So basically, if you're really desperate for a hit, you can get a worse version of Cell's 50-50 after his level 3, and the damage you get after this is just horrible. It is so bad. It is like so unbelievable bad. It is horrible. I'm trying to get him to block, or not block, I'm trying to get him to crouch so I could show you exactly how bad this damage is, but it's a horrible confirm. I mean, look at how much this vanish confirm is doing. This is doing like 20%, maybe 30 max. Now, on the bright side, this hit does jail into vanish, so it's kind of relatively safe unless they reflect on a guess. They have to be mad to do that. And the 236L still stays same side, so it is a true 50-50. But again, it's sort of like that kind of mix that you only go for if you're really desperate, because you just don't do a lot of damage off this mix. Unless you're end of game 1v1, you're always gonna kill this guy. It's not really worth going for, really. However, fret not, because there is something else you can do to get much more fucked up Oki on your level 3. You might be asking yourself one very important question.
What the fuck?
What happened here, if you analyze very slowly, is that as the character gets launched by base Goku, he gets launched into Fat Buu's head, which is the start of the level 3 hitbox. When you go into Fat Buu's head, you're actually behind him. And when you get launched, you and Fat Buu are both in the corner. You're gonna fall on Fat Buu. He's gonna push you backwards out of the corner, as you can see. And then Fat Buu is gonna steal the corner from you. But, wait, there's more. You can walk back out of the corner once you're done. That might be the most fucked up mix-up I've ever created. And by what I created, I mean this little thing stealing the corner after, not the mix-up. The mix-up, the first I've seen of it at least, was found by Kelso 2 times. If you don't know Kelso, Kelso is another North American Fat Buu. I think I have a set of him on my channel. He's a very strong player. And he came up with this and he put it in a Majin Buu group chat, and he trolled all of us with it. He wanted to save this tech. He said, I'm going to use this in bracket. I'm going to hit some people at Bum's birthday bash. And I mean, I didn't see it at the tournament. I think he might have used it once, but it's a really good mix-up. So just to highlight some of the options that you can do after this mix, we have cross-up high, cross-up low, same side high, same side low. You can do either of these and either stay same side or cross up from either in or out of the corner. You can do a really slow looking jump back JH and still meaty and safe jump them. Or you can do that jump back and then cross back over. And if you're a truly despicable human being, then you can do this mix up. Now, you don't need specifically base Goku to do this. You can do this with a bunch of other assists. The idea here is you just need to have an assist that knocks you into Fat Buu's head. So, there's a list in the Fat Buu Discord and also one in the description of a bunch of assists that can do this. And I'm really sorry there's not really a specific optimal setup for this situation, but the point is, this is basically Baby stealing the corner, Z-Broly stealing the corner. This is like the forbidden shit that people don't want you using, and it's really, really good. You might have seen, just from watching some of the mixes I did, that another quirk about this setup is that when I jump backwards, just, you know, a regular backwards jump after this setup, Majin Buu doesn't actually turn around, and there's still a little bit of corner for me to still have, so the fucked up mix is actually just me jumping back and then air dashing back in really fast. So it's a really, really strong situation to be in. It's such a fucked up situation. But tangents and rambling aside, that's sort of basically the end of the Oki video. That's all his optimal Oki options in any given situation. If you like this video, be sure to give it a like, spread it around, subscribe to the channel. I'm open to doing other characters, that kind of thing. But Majin Buu is my expertise, my baby boy. He's my son, and I love him to pieces. So, yeah, if you guys enjoy this content, subscribe. See you later.